partnered with Total Energies. We are partnered with Sinok Uganda Limited. We are partnered with UNOC. And in that partnership, we have been in position, for example, to train the next production technicians for the oil and gas sector in this country.
Welcome and good morning. Once again, my name is Ashaba Agre. I'm the chairman of the Uganda Chamber of Energy and Petroleum and Minerals. And today with me, I have the pleasure of hosting engineer, oilman, seasoned oil professional, Bernard Ongodia, who will do a quick introduction about himself and his journey in this oil industry, and what he's currently doing, which is the principal of the only petroleum institute in Uganda called the Uganda Petroleum Institute, Chigumba. He's the gentleman that is tasked with developing Ugandans and making sure that they are skilled to a level that can be able to deploy their competences within the oil industry. Very welcome, Bernard. And please, if you could just do a quick rundown of your journey within the oil and gas sector and where you are currently, and then we shall pick it up from there.
Thank you, Agri. As I introduced, Bernard Ongodia is my name. I start by saying I finished university in 1996 after completing a Bachelor of Science in Physics. And that time there were very few opportunities in the sector. At the same time, there was a ban on recruitment in public service. So I opted to go to do another qualification. That's a diploma in electrical engineering, and by then in Uganda Technical College, Masaka. From there is when I was given an opportunity to lecture in the same institute. But fate had it in 2002. I applied for a job in the Ministry of Energy as a junior geophysicist, and I was given that opportunity. So from 2002 up to around 2017, I was in the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. And I rose from being a geophysicist to a senior geophysicist and subsequently principal geophysicist. But what happened during then was that we're doing a lot of exploration. You can see 2002, basically more ground exploration activities, and the oil companies had just come in to do additional seismic exploration. So I participated so much in seismic exploration activities. I was among those few people who did lake seismic, Lake Albert, and that was not an easy activity as well. But most importantly, we are lucky that in all those exploration opportunities or activities, we're able to find oil in 2006, commercial discoveries of oil in 2006. And I'm lucky again that among those that were recognized by HE, the president, for having discovered oil in the country. But within the ministry, I did not only do oil and gas exploration work. I was also positioned to do other things that probably built my career to where I am now. I did project management activities. I was instrumental in the management of the Norwegian-funded program called the Strengthening Oil and Gas Sector in this country. And that project, in one way, is what helped us develop the requisite legal frameworks that we are riding on as a country in the petroleum sector. I was also in charge of many activities within the ministry. Like I was in charge of procurement, I was in charge of transport and logistics. For me, those seem to be small things, but they enabled me become stronger, and so that you are grounded to manage all aspects of the sector. And clearly, after living in the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, that's specifically in the Petroleum Exploration and Production Department in 2017, I joined the Uganda Petroleum Institute Kigumba, where I am now the principal. And my main assignment is to deliver the requisite manpower required by the oil and gas sector. I joined that institution when we had limited infrastructure. We had a few students. We had basically a few staff that had the requisite capacity and qualifications to deliver the training that's required in the sector. But since then, I can attest to it that from a modest institution, we're now proud to have an institution that has all the ingredients of a center of excellence. A center of excellence that has a quality infrastructure. From would be no infrastructure, we have accommodation space that can accommodate significant number of students. We have the learning space in terms of classrooms, in terms of workshops. We have the best equipment I can see for a training institution of that caliber in the oil and gas sector. Recently, we acquired, for example, a 3-phase separator. There are very few institutions globally that have that kind of equipment for training. So besides the equipment, we also have been positioned to build a critical mass of lecturers that are now able to deliver the content of the curriculum that we developed together with international partners like IFP Training of France, and of course aligning that curriculum with the international accredited bodies like City and Guilds. So we have tried to bring into excellence in infrastructure, excellence in the curriculum that's aligned to international training requirements, and of course excellence in ensure that the staff are able to deliver this content. But most importantly is that we have done this together as a country and in partnership with the industry. We have partnered with Total Energies. We have partnered with Sinok Uganda Limited. We have partnered with UNOC. And in that partnership, we have been in position, for example, to train the next production technicians for the oil and gas sector in this country. We have training around 200 production technicians for Total under the Teleng Academy. The first group of those trainees, that's 100, have already moved out of the country for additional training in France, Malaysia, and Takatuvu, Oman. We are the second tranche of those students will be leaving us in September. We have also been positioned to train. We're training around 141 Ugandan and Kenyans people under the ECOP Academy. So they'll be the ones that are going to work for the ECOP for the next 25 years. So this will be with us for about 6 months, and subsequently they'll move to, again, probably France or in step in Malaysia and probably Oman. So for me, this is a vote of confidence to the institution. It's a vote of the confidence to the country that we are now in position to deliver programs that are tailored and required by the oil and gas sector. We are able to ensure that our Ugandans, our East Africans, trained locally here without much expenditure going to training institutions abroad.
So I'd like us to hold the thought first on UPIK and take you back slightly behind based on your story about your journey. So first of all, yes, I know you are one of the people that was recognized by His Excellency the President, and this podcast is also one way of amplifying and telling the story of the people who have been behind this industry. Because in most cases, we don't tell the faces, we don't tell the names of the people who have done a fantastic and good job to get the industry to where it was, rather to where it is currently. So my question to you is that, looking back, for all the things that you did then, because I know you were involved with the Petroleum Act, you were involved with the seismic, you were involved with the engineering of the processes and everything. Looking back now and seeing what is happening, how much pleasure or how much do you view your contribution to this whole process?
For me, it's good to live and see activities of the sector happening now. Because that time when, as you said, when we're developing, for example, the National Oil and Gas Policy of 2008, we set to do a lot of things. We set to establish institutions, and we have seen these institutions there. We have the National Oil Company, we have the Petroleum Authority, we have the Ministry doing its policy around. So that is something that has come to pass. We envisaged that time to, under objectives 7 and 8, to develop the requisite manpower of the sector. And what has not been mentioned is that from the discovery 2006, development of the National Oil and Gas Policy in 2008, the first offset of the policy was the establishment of a Uganda Petroleum Institute Uganda.
Oh, really?
In 2009.
That was the first activity.
The first activity. You can see
fantastic.
all these institutions came after.
Okay.
But the UPIK, because of the vision of the president, came immediately after the development and the approval of the policy. So in terms of the projects, you can see that we wanted to add value. So we got the oil, we wanted to add value. You can see now the work on the refinery more or less progressing. You can see the work in ECOP moving faster. So as we run to fast oil, you can see the projects, the Tilenga project, the Kingfisher projects, a lot of activities happening. So for me, it's very exciting to see these things happening. That you envisage this to happen when you are just acquiring data, but now becoming a reality. And it calls usually for patience. Sometimes we want to do things very fast. The country decided to do all of these things systematically. You can see we did the policy, we did the laws, we did the regulations. We did not hurry to develop the resource. Because even if you hurry to develop the resource, probably you could have messed up with the reserve. But there are countries that made significant discoveries and straight away they went into production. I think there are a few hiccups they met along the way. You have a bigger reservoir, but subsequently you have not understood the reservoir very well. Eventually, probably the final production output becomes low. But Uganda were lucky that with all of these, adequate monitoring, regulation, we are now seeing even what is happening in the field is similarly what we envisage, including the studies that we got from the seismic, including the development planning. When it comes to drilling, what is happening, what the results that we are getting in the field, more or less similar to what we had envisaged through studies. So for me, it's an exciting time for the country, and there's no doubt we're heading for better things.
So thank you very much for painting that picture. I think, as Bernard says, when he looks back, he's satisfied with the direction the industry is taking, for all the contributions that he did make at that time when we had no exact idea of where we would be. This is probably like 12, 15 years of hard work. And here we are, and some of us and most of the members for the Uganda Chamber of Energy and Minerals are benefiting from some of these policy decisions, the national content law, everything else that Ugandans are enjoying is the work of men like him that have been able to deliver on the vision and the objectives that had been set out by the president. So Bernard, coming back to you now on UPIK, knowing that the initial industrial baseline survey showed a lot of gaps on the manpower side, and now that you're in charge of this, if you could be able to elaborate for the viewers, how many trades are they that you as UPIK handle on behalf of the country? How many people, technicians, in terms of the trades that are required for the industry that you're training? And so far, what has been the output in this respect? And how have the placements been? Is everyone who's receiving these certifications or trainings able to be placed within the job market?
Yeah, thank you. UPIK, as I said earlier, started with a smaller population of 28 students. When we established in 2009, we started training in 2010. And that number has since grown. So it was also one program, that's petroleum studies. But as you run programs, you realize that you need to look at the market. What are the reactions from the market? So the market said, this program is so generic. So there's need for you to customize it to make it relevant to the sector. Eventually, my people then rebranded it to petroleum engineering, but they did not rebrand the content. And again, the industry said, that's
not what we need.
That's not what we need. So when I joined the institution in 2017, the first thing was to look at the studies that the country had done. As you mentioned, the industry baseline study. We had the workforce skills development strategy and plan that had a strategy on how we have to take the training forward. We had our own strategic plan. So the first thing I did was to reorganize the program. So split the program from petroleum engineering to now focus into the upstream and downstream petroleum operations. So I started the diploma in downstream petroleum and diploma in upstream petroleum operations. So that diploma is accredited by National Council of Higher Education, and it runs for 2 years. So from that's when I began to see positive feedback from the industry, because now the programs had been aligned to what the sector
required, the demand, the job demand,
the demand required. But I again had to partner with international institutions like IFE of France and say, can we open up? Can we look at what we have amidst all the studies that the country has done? And we agreed that we needed to have shorter programs as well, leading to 1 year international vocational qualifications. We opened up the 2 diploma programs into 1 year international vocational program in upstream petroleum operations, international vocational program in downstream petroleum operations.
What do you mean international vocational programs?
Because now we are accredited internationally. The certificates you get are not our ordinary certificates. You either get City and Guilds, you either get...
So maybe to help the viewer out there, what is the relevance and the significance of international certifications like OPITO, City and Guilds, American Welding Society, so they can be able to understand how that fits into the programs and the reviews that you did at UPIK?
Yes, the industry recognizes specific standards, specific qualifications, and in terms of training, as you mentioned, clearly there are established training bodies globally that have been running the show for a while.
Specifically for oil and gas.
Oil and gas, the most recognized one is OPITO, Offshore Petroleum Industry Training Organization. It's a global body that has been in the sector, running the training in the sector for quite a while. And of course, what has been in the world, even with outside the oil and gas, is City and Guilds. I think even before we were born, City and Guilds was in this country. But it has also a robust curriculum, and the training it brings out technicians that are competent. It's basically competent-based training. Then the other aspects you are saying, for welding, we have American Welding Society. We have additional qualifications depending on the requirements of the clients. Then we have ECATB. ECATB is also a global standard industry. ECATB is the Engineer Construction Industry Training Board. It's a UK qualification. So these are international qualifications, bodies that have been running training for the sector. So for us to align our domestic needs with the international requirements, we as an institution had to ensure that we bring this
home.
These bodies home. So UPIK is lucky to be an approved center for PITO. It's an approved center for City and Guilds, an approved center for CITB. So we deliver and certify the training on their behalf. And then American Welding Society, unfortunately, wanted it as domesticated as well, but we learned that they prefer to be in highly concentrated oil provinces like Egypt. So they said they have one center in Egypt, and that center should be able to deliver the required training in other parts of Africa. But the relevance is, one, you get a qualifications that is internationally recognized. Two, you have an opportunity to leverage your qualifications everywhere in the world. So if I get a PITO from UPIK, I should be in position to work globally.
That's important.
Narrowing my scope to working in only Uganda. So I think that's the broader thing. So even if tomorrow our industry narrows down in terms of giving our people opportunities, they should be in position to go to the USE.
So maybe just for perspective, you've given the fact that you brought all these global training certifications home. In terms of perspective, what would be the cost of a Ugandan, for example, training for OPITO, maybe in the UK, as compared to the cost if they are doing it at Uganda Petroleum Institute, Kigumba? Just for perspective.
No, the cost differential is basically on the flight tickets.
Okay.
And then, of course, accommodation stay in the UK. But otherwise, the rates are standard.
They're the same.
They are the same.
So technically, you're saying that you don't have to go to the UK.
You don't have to go
to get that same similar qualification.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
You can just get it here.
Okay.
And avoid those unnecessary costs of visa, accommodation there.
So, ladies and gentlemen, just to also complement what Mr. Ongodia is highlighting here, is that for oil and gas, you cannot work or you cannot be employed without some of these certifications. For you to be employed, they need you to have those levels of certifications, because it's the only way that they determine your competence for you to be able to execute the work. And I'll let him continue on the programs that they are delivering and the number of people they have churned out.
So thank you so much. The additional programs, as I said, apart from the upstream and downstream, because those are limited to you working as a technician for the upstream segment of the sector, and the other one is the downstream. Downstream, for definition of the program, is from the pipeline, refinery, and storage facility. So the curriculum covers those broadly. So we also recognize that apart from the petroleum operations, you needed programs in petroleum maintenance. So we have mechanical maintenance. I think we have the best mechanical maintenance workshops in East Africa.
Ooh, fantastic.
We have instrumentation. We have the best instrumentation workshop, probably again in East Africa, because instrumentation is a rare qualification. Usually, even when you go to industries here, it is basically electrical trained students, electrical engineering students.
Maybe
transition into instrumentation.
maybe also to help the viewers, what do you mean by instrumentation?
Basically measurements.
Okay.
Physical measurements.
Okay.
So you can see, for example, you go to Malago for somebody to work on a microscope. We had to get a Kenyan to do it
Oh, really?
for us.
And now you're delivering those,
Now
you're
we
churning them out.
Deliver those. But this is more specific training for now. We're focusing on the sector. So it is looking at the flow measurements. If you have to measure the amount of oil flowing through a pipeline, we should be able to do it with the highest level of accuracy. So that's what we're doing in our students. We should be able to measure the temperatures, the pressures that go through the pipelines. So apart from instrumentation, but we actually want to upgrade that program from a certificate, international certificates, to a diploma, because we don't seem to have any diploma program in instrumentation in Uganda. We don't seem to be having a degree in instrumentation. So we really want to upgrade that. The other qualifications, and of course we do welding and fabrication from lowest level of welding to the highest level, that is 6G. We have electrical maintenance, different from electrical training that you get from the technical institutions. And of course the other ones, as I said, the operations part. But we're also looking at expanding our programs, if you could allow,
please,
in that, because
this podcast is for you.
We recognize that what we are doing, because we are more or less meeting the demand for the sector. If you look at the NSD, the talent register.
The talent register.
The numbers that are directly employed in the sector are now heading towards 15,000, 16,000.
Yes.
The studies then are envisaged that we should have 14,000 direct employees in the sector.
Oh.
So we have hit that target, plus or minus. But you should also realize that there is a lot of work in the field now in terms of construction and the development of facilities. So I would say that we are more or less hitting the peak. So when you are hitting the peak, you need to prepare to see how to offset. From the studies basically say, when you reach peak demand, come first oil, the curve tapers.
Yes.
And when it tapers, it will stabilize at around 3,000 employees for the next 25 years. So institutions like UPIK, institutions like universities that are running these programs must be very keen.
They must begin to prepare
on that curve.
So yesterday I was having a conversation with Jimmy Mugerwa and under IEC, and he was telling me that it's now the time to ask ourselves, what next?
Absolutely. So as an institution, we are mapping this critically, because we should not continue to churning out Ugandans
who will not be placed.
Will not be placed unless you have options for them in terms of exporting labor, in terms of ensuring that the highest trained person is able to transition from petroleum to other sectors of the economy. So as a country, we should be planning to see how to offset that group of students, group of people that have gotten the highest level of skills. But in the next 2-3 years, they should be looking for jobs. For as an institution, we are saying, can we look at alternative programs? For example, health, safety, and environment. We know universities channel out environmental engineers, but we also realize that there are specific high-end trainings required by the sector. You can see IOSH, that's an international qualification. NEBOSH is an international qualification for health, safety, and environment. So we're saying, can we now customize, because our programs we develop are customized to these international trainings or qualifications. Can we develop a diploma in health, safety, and environment, different from what other institutions are offering? Because we have also seen that the sector has opened up the HSC culture.
Yes.
across the...
Which has been a very missing link in how we do business and how
Absolutely.
we manage ourselves.
So it's now not something only for the oil and gas sector.
It's cutting across. Actually, this week, the Minister for Gender and Labour also made a point to that effect. And she was saying that they are now going to work on something around safety in the workplace, OSHASH, to make sure that they can start to implement this. But like you said, I don't think we have even the resources to be able to understand this and implement them at workplaces.
Sure. So that's one area. And we have already developed the curriculum. We are sending it to the National Council of Higher Education for accreditation. The other one is we are looking at the mining space. This country has a lot of mining opportunities, a lot of artisanal miners, and most of them are doing work without any training at all.
Zero, none.
So we are thinking that is an emerging area or an area that was abandoned that we must occupy. So we are already beginning to develop programs leading to a diploma in mining engineering. We have visited Tanzania, for example, that has developed these programs. An institution like VETA Moshi.
Yes, VETA.
Is an institution that has been training miners for the Tanzanian mining sector. And they're working collaboratively with the Chamber of Mines. And also think that we are not going to do this in isolation. We'll work with the Chamber of Mines to ensure that we develop a robust program that will address that big gap in the mining sector. So the work is in progress for a diploma in mining engineering.
I think that's a fantastic intervention. So actually last year when we were doing our mining conference, one of the takeaways in the conversation was to set up a mining institute because we've established from feedback from our members that there is a lack of skills and competences within the mining space. Our request then to the minister and the deputy prime minister and the deputy speaker and the prime minister was that we need to set up a mining institute. And our recommendation was that maybe it would be better to upgrade UPIK to also support mining rather than setting up, because getting these institutions off the ground from zero is quite a feat. But if you already have one that is established and you just need to expand its capacity or competencies, I think it would be much easier. We are happy as a chamber to engage with you, to also bring our members on board so they can tell you where the gaps are, what they feel the gaps could be, so that you could be able to support in training Ugandans that can be able to fill these ones.
Sure, we'll be very happy to
because
you take this forward.
When we were in Tanzania the other day also, they were telling us about VETA and all this. So they have specific skills that they train. Besides mining engineering, but they are also geomologists, people who cut stones, who cut the gemstones and all this. Polishing, those small skills that we probably don't have, because for a similar stone that we probably have somewhere in Karamoja, compared to a Tanzanite in Tanzania, the gap is so huge in terms of what value eventually it demands on the market after it has been taken through that process, as opposed or compared to what we have, because we usually sell them as they are, because we don't have those skills, nor the competences to take them from a mere stone of this caliber to something that can be worn pricelessly as a necklace or a ring or earrings. So we are happy to have an engagement with you on that front.
Thank you. The other front that is still related to the chamber is this energy transition aspect.
Yes.
Much as
why we are here today.
Why we have been on fossil fuel for a while, but the world is waking up and say, time is up for us to continue with fossil fuels. Can we transition into cleaner energies? So we're looking at that keenly as an institution, as an opportunity, again, for us to utilize our expertise, the competencies, and the space that we have. So we are already developing another program in renewable energy. And we know the demand is there. We have also been consulted by some partner institutions to, for example, develop programs in nuclear energy, but at lower level. We know the institutions like Soroti have been designated as centers of excellence for nuclear, but we can do ours at lower level. So we're keenly looking at that space of renewable energy. And the curriculum is being developed to take cognizance and take advantage of those opportunities. So you can see that for us, our programs are demand-driven. We don't want to offer programs that
for the sake of it.
So when we see the petroleum space is shrinking, we'll definitely move into other areas where opportunities are. And that is the mining sector, the energy sector, the industry sector in general. And then, of course, we'll not run away from the niche. There'll always be capacity building.
Oh, yes.
Within the oil space as well. So these programs that we're having will remain there, but at a lower level. We probably have to customize them into short programs for capacity building of the industrial players. And of course, there is also hope that with all this renewed exploration activity in the country, like we're opening up the Kyoga Basin, the Morotuka Dam basins, you don't have to close the other programs at all. There could be a potential discovered tomorrow. And of course, not only those new basins, you also have existing basins that have been proven to have oil. So this could also be licensed, and tomorrow we could have additional oil in the country. So we don't run away from our niche for now, but what we're saying, can we do expansion of our programs?
Okay, so my final point to you would be that I hope you're also looking at attracting from other markets people who can come and train within the facility, because I also believe that's an area that would be explored as a center, UPIK being a center of excellence for the region. I did have a conversation with Namibia, and they did indicate that they would like to have some of their people trained and they wanted to visit. And I think probably at a more appropriate date, we will make that conversation with them, because they want to try and set up something similar, but they're still light years behind. So, but in the meantime, they would like to have some of their people trained. Is that an area that you would be keen on, and how would maybe the chamber or other jurisdictions support by sending down their students for you to give them this fantastic training?
Right, as I said, what we're looking at as an institution is threefold. One, as I said, consolidating on the programs we have. Two, the aspects of diversification into other programs, renewable energy, mining, and among others. And the third aspect, in my vision going forward, is of course expansion. And our privilege now that we have started on that front as well. We are training students for ECOP 141, and because 20% of ECOP is in Uganda, the other bigger percentage, so the bigger percentage of the students who are training under ECOP are from Tanzania.
Oh, really?
So already into the Tanzanian market.
I didn't know that. Ah, fantastic.
Already in Tanzanian market.
Oh, that's exciting.
And I have to assure you again, our partners, delaying Total Energies, before they narrowed down to train in UPIK, they had done the independent analysis of the institutions in the region, and found out that there was no similar institution like UPIK. I visited Veta Moshi, I visited Richard Technical College, and it's small as a college and university, but they have no thing similar to what we have.
That's
so already in Tanzania, we have had people from South Sudan looking for opportunities to join us. We have potential opportunities in DRC. We have, Mozambique is an interesting area as well. Mozambique has already visited us. Of course, there could be challenge in the language, but they have benchmarked with us and see what can we do for them. Can we establish a similar academy in Mozambique? I'm happy that you have also been in talks with Namibia. The head of the Petroleum Sector Commissioner, he happened to have studied with me in Norway for a short course. And she has also been telling me, Bernard, we need to benchmark, come to Uganda and see what good things you have done there.
Yeah.
So it's good that they're also taking those discussions forward. I remember they had initiated the discussions to have a visit.
Yes, correct.
So let's continue with that discussion. It's not about dominance. It's about helping.
Collaboration.
Collaboration and helping our African people grow.
So we'll pick that up with them because the person I was speaking to is the head. It's just like in your position. She's the head of the training and employment program for the oil and gas in there. So we'll pick up that program and we'll see how we could do the linkages and probably have a couple of them come through. So Bernard, any final thoughts from you, especially for the point that you had highlighted around the people who are going for work experience to Malaysia and France and all this, before I leave you to have attend the conference which has just started, day 2?
Yes, for me, I think, first of all, thank you for hosting me today here. And it has been a journey, and I'm happy we walked this journey together. It could have been another area altogether, but we have been in the petroleum space for a while, and we have seen things unfold from exploration. It's only joined in 2002. We have seen those small companies come and go. We have seen the big boys come and dominating the space. We have witnessed the discoveries. We are witnessing the developments in the sector now. We are looking at significant investments that have been accrued in the sector over time. And the story is amazing. Amazing for somebody who has been seeing these things unfold. And most importantly, one thing I did when I was in Ministry of Energy, Petroleum Exploration and Production Department was to accept. I accepted very many roles. Accept to be in charge of the National Content Unit.
Yes, I remember.
At that time, I had to ensure I developed the requisite framework in national participation,
which we're enjoying now.
And I'm happy. I'm told now the last thing in the policy that we wanted was to have this local content fund.
Yes,
the cabinet has
approved it.
So it's a step forward, much as it has come at a tail end when a lot of things, but it's a significant step. So the most important thing in that space is how do you leverage on the opportunities the sector has for the benefit of your people, benefit of Ugandans in terms of employment, in terms of businesses. But now it is probably what took me to you, because I saw I needed to be in the kitchen.
To cook again.
To cook the human
You've always been in the kitchen.
Human resource that the sector required. Because I used to visit there when I was in charge of national participation in the industry, and I saw the institution not taking off. It was actually stalling. It was collapsing.
I remember.
So I said, no, something must be done. And I'm happy we're at that point in time that now we are backing the Ugandans who are going to work for the petroleum sector in the next 25 years. The 200 trainees under Tilenga are being groomed to be the future production technicians for the Tilenga project. So the training has been from UPIK to abroad for 1 year. From abroad, they'll place them in a production facility operated by Total, and then subsequently they land in the country to operate the facilities for the next 25 years. And that means that they are going to be groomed from production technicians, and they are the next managers. They are the next Omodias in this country. They are the next MDs of these oil companies. So that for me is a win for the country. We are seeing a similar trend for ECOP. We are training production technicians that are going to run the pipeline for the next 25 years. That's not a mere achievement. It's a major achievement for this country. We might do a similar one for Sinok. Their numbers could be smaller, but there were discussions with them to again develop a human capital that will be running the key future facilities for the next 25 years. So for me, it's a mega opportunity. And for us who are privileged to be running the show, the most important thing is to ensure that we put all our energies in building a foundation that is very important, relevant for this country. Because without critical human resource,
there is no benefit.
So
thank you very much, Mr. Bernard Ongodia. He's very modest, but I know by the time he took over, we did visit the Petroleum Institute in Chigumba, and it was more or less a bush. But if you go now and you see how much advancement has been put into that place, the laboratories, the buildings, the landscape, and basically the whole education environment, it is a fantastic space. So thank you very much, Bernard. These are some of the faces that people do not know that have done so much work for this sector to go forward. And I am happy that they are diversifying the trainings into other sectors, and we hope that as a country we'll be able to build that critical human resource that can be able to shape the development of the country. Thank you so much, Bernard. And this is not the last, it's just the first of very many podcasts that we shall be having, so we can continue to inform the country and the world of the good things that have come out of this oil and gas. Thank you.
Uganda Chamber of Energy and Minerals for a sustainable future.